What I'm going to talk to you about is how do you systemize culture? When I first started playing, it was very much a part-time industry. So really, we just went to training, trained as hard as we possibly could, had a few tactics, but not many, and then obviously went out and tried to win on the weekend. But what I learned over 17 years of playing, you can systemize culture. And that's what I put into effect at the Sydney Swans Football Club. What are the steps that you need to go through in order to systemize your culture? The first step is, what do we stand for? Who are we? Because if we don't know what we stand for, we don't know who we are, it's very hard to become that particular entity. Okay. So what we need to do is establish some clear guidelines as to who we are. And at Sydney Swans, we did that in 2003 into 2002, going into 2003 season. We made a conscious decision to systemize our culture. All right. We decided who we were at Coffs Harbour. What do other teams think of us? What do we think about ourselves? And what do we want to be seen as? Who do we want to be? All right. So you can systemize it, but we need to collectively come up with a set of behaviors, which we did at Coffs Harbour. The next part of the system that we put in place is role model leaders. All right. So if we've got a system, we've got a culture code, we've got the Bloods culture, what we then need to identify is who are the role model leaders. And we got the players to vote based on the culture code, based on the Bloods culture, which was pretty groundbreaking at the time. But system is, we set up our behaviors, be really clear on them. The next part of the SWAN system is, okay, who best exhibits those behaviors? So we then vote on the leadership group. And then Stewie Maxfield became captain. And Stewie was an outstanding leader, because what Stewie said was, if this is where we're going, I'm going to take you there. If this is what we stand for, I'm going to do it. There's a great quote from Michael Jordan in The Last Dance. He said, you can ask my teammates, they would never say, I asked them to do anything that I didn't do myself. And Stewie was like that. All right, so a system is, we create a really clear set of behaviors. We also create a technical set of behaviors, KPIs, all right, which each company will have, but what are the behaviors? We then picked our best role model leader. All right, so for the executive team, which is going to be a bit different, the question I would ask is, are you the best leader? So if you were to be selected by your peers, would you get in the group? All right, which is really, really interesting. I remember asking my son came home from me one day, went to Cranbrook, and he said, Dad, we're picking the school captain. I said, what are you picking it on? He said, well, I'm not sure. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, what's the criteria for what you're picking on? So no system, just the popular kid got the vote. We had a clear system of behaviors. We then had a system of picking the leader, and then our leader made a decision that he was going to be the best role model. All right. So you can systemize culture, but you have to understand first and foremost who you are. You have to have your leaders being prepared to be role models within that system. So there you are. That's a start. That's how we start our system, and that's how we start our process.